what do you do with Viktor Arvidsson? Right? I mean, you traded for him right before the opening of free agency this past summer. And he's in his early 30s, has had a couple of down years prior to this season where he's battled injuries and inconsistency. And the Bruins traded for him in the final year of his contract coming over from Edmonton. And the biggest question was why? Like, what hole did Viktor Arvidsson fill in that moment when the Bruins needed, youth and speed and skill, which isn't easy to come by necessarily in free agency because with the cap going up constantly, players are re-signing with their own organizations. But, best case scenario is what I heard from people at the time was, well, you know what? Maybe he comes in next year and, has a resurrection season and can improve his trade value and the Bruins can flip him at the deadline for a draft pick. Well, Viktor Arvidsson has played better than even those people hoped he would play. I mean, he's got 30 points in 46 games this year for the Bruins, 16 goals. And now a lot of those same people don't want the Bruins to trade him. I mean, I understand. Like, if you trade Arvidsson right now, then, you're going to upset the locker room. Now, granted, the Bruins are probably going to buy and sell at this year's deadline. So if they trade Arvidsson, I don't think it would just be a situation where they're just getting rid of Arvidsson and that's it. Like, if that were the case, then yeah, I think you'd have some upset Bruins in the room and an upset head coach in Marco Sturm, who really likes Viktor Arvidsson and has a history with them dating back to their time in LA. But I just think, if you get offered a first-round pick for Viktor Arvidsson, who is on an expiring contract, is in his early 30s, early mid-30s. He's had inconsistencies with production despite a really good year this year. He's had injury issues. You kind of feel like this might be the best of Arvidsson right now. So to me, Arvidsson's an interesting case study. You have a team in the Bruins who are projecting to make the playoffs, and Arvidsson's been one of their better 5-on-5 players, producing on their second line. Do you get rid of that guy? Or do you get rid of him for long-term asset management? Or do you keep him for a short-term playoff run where you're probably not going to make the Stanley Cup Finals anyway, let alone win them? So when Morgan Geekie talks about Sweeney standing pat or maybe adding to the team, when you hear your players expecting your GM to not be selling pieces off, if you're Sweeney, it must be tough to do that. It's got to be tough to sell some important pieces to the current group when they're expecting you to do the opposite. Now, as I said, I do think there might be a bit of both, and we'll get to those options in a second. But I think the jury is out on Viktor Arvidsson. I honestly don't know what's going to happen with him and the Bruins at this trade deadline. I really don't, because I think the Bruins are trying to add some players that are younger and more in their prime at this deadline if they can, and they may have to try to make some cap work. And if the Bruins intend on bringing in some impact players, they only have $3 million in cap space, so something's got to give. So I think that if someone's offering you a second-round draft pick for Arvidsson, I'm not sure. I'm kind of on the fence. I'm probably leaning towards don't disrupt the room for that. If someone offers you a first-round pick for him, then I think you have to do it. If someone offers you a second-round pick for him or a third-round pick for him and moving Arvidsson's salary is part of a domino effect to bring in somebody bigger, then I think you have to do that. You have to do that too. I just think that this deadline is one of those situations where you may have to upset some people to do what's best. And I'm not making any predictions on if Arvidsson's going to be traded or not. I'm just saying I'm interested. I'm interested because I can see why they keep him for this current group, for this playoff run this spring. But if the Bruins don't intend on re-signing him this summer, and moving Arvidsson helps facilitate a different deal, or help recuperate a draft pick that you maybe plan on trading away for somebody else right now, I just think that it's layered. And I think Arvidsson's been great for the Bruins. I like him. I like him on the ice. I like him off the ice. But in this cutthroat business that can be professional sports, I'm interested. So we'll follow that. And the reason why Arvidsson could be on the way out potentially, because you're trying to capitalize on an expiring asset, but also, as I said, perhaps they're trying to, get rid of his salary to make room for something else. Now, what could something else mean? Well, glad you asked.